Hello, this is Zeke777, and welcome to episode 24 of Arcane Revolution. Today, we are starting up in the Mage District, because I have some fun things I want to put together up here. Thought there was an eclipse for a second. Just a moon. Okay, so, you'll notice I've been putting in these Radiant Lanterns from Arcane Archives. I've been kind of playing around a lot with this mod on the test server that they have set up, just kind of trying to figure out how it works, what all is fun to do in it, and what can it break, because that's what I do. So, for now, I'm just kind of using it for decoration around here. The main stuff is not yet implemented in it, but there is some basic storage as well as nice decorative blocks like this. Then the chain I'm using is rustic golden chain, because why not? It looks nice. So what are we going to do today? Well, Mr. Golem here, he's been hard at work while we've just been sitting there talking. He's basically going to just keep doing this for, well, the foreseeable future. Because what we're doing today is Astral Sorcery with specifically liquid starlight, as well as a bit of the celestial crystal breeding and setting up an automation for that. And like I said, the main plan is breeding up crystals, and we're going to need a whole bunch of liquid starlight, and unfortunately Mr. Golem here, he's not really doing his job very well. If I get my Golemancer's bell, which I think I have somewhere, my tools bag maybe? Where are you, Mr. Golem Bell? Here we go, Golemancer's bell. If I equip this, you can see I've got a use core, or a use seal I should say, right next to this one. And currently he's just put in here, which isn't really doing me very good. Go over to that one. There you go, okay. So the problem is, he doesn't move around much. My hope with this was that he would go over here, grab one, place it down, grab another, place it at the next one. Unfortunately, the problem is, since he doesn't move, he just kind of sits where he is and keeps trying to put it in one that already has it. Which is really annoying. I don't really know of a way I can get around that. I don't think I have any other really right-clicking mod in here. Perhaps Ancient Warfare, like I had the tree farm set up over there. Perhaps that might work. I haven't really looked too far into that to see if that's even a thing, though. So, that being the case, I'm thinking Aquamarine's probably not going to be what we're going to go with. So, a couple options. I think I might have... I don't have any crystals on me, do I? Arcane Archives. Again, shiny crystals here. One of the compatibility features that it has is you can put Radiant Quartz, which is its kind of base material. You can put that in the light wells as well, and you can get some liquid starlight out of it that way. And if we take a look at our little setup here, I have a couple block breakers over the Radiant Resonators, so once this will form a crystal, which is every 5 minutes, you get Radiant Quartz. And I currently have almost 2 stacks of raw Radiant Quartz blocks. I also have some shaped Radiant Quartz, which gets you a little bit more out of it. The problem is that this takes 2 of these, and I don't quite get twice the starlight out of it, so for item efficiency, these are better. For overall cost efficiency, these are better. But honestly, they're both pretty pitiful. I have a notebook here. Let me check that real quick. The problem is that Radiant Quartz, I get, for 10 items of Radiant Quartz, I get 46,000 buckets, or 46,000 millibuckets, I should say. For the shaped Radiant Quartz, I get 67,000 millibuckets, so 67 buckets. And for regular good old Aquamarine, I get 40,000 buckets, or 40,000 millibuckets. So basically, I get about the same amount of starlight out from these guys, but they last a lot longer. So it's sort of slightly more efficient per item thing, but extremely slow. So probably not going to be able to keep up with our needs now that I think about it. The other option that we have for starlight is, of course, from Astral Sorcery itself, celestial crystals. Now, I do need to do a little bit of research to figure out how the stats will affect how much starlight you get out of it. But for now, I think I've got a double chest full of these at this point, of Purity 99 or 100. I've just been kind of breeding them off camera. So for now, just to get a constant income here, these guys will last a lot longer than Aquamarine, hopefully. There's still a bit of RNG in here. So we're just going to plop you here. Sweet, that's working. Now, I think it's not quite working exactly how I want, because I need to get my wrench from Magneticraft. And I need to make sure that this is actually set to export. Shift right click? Maybe. It should have an orange bar on it, which it currently does not. So let's toggle that one more time. Yes? No? Oh, there we go. Okay. Now it is set to toggle. It's set to pull it. So let's take a look here. We are currently at 84 buckets. So that's decent. We'll work on a better system for that. Next up, we need our basic setup for breeding. And as far as I know, this is an original design. And it's going to have to kind of explain how it works. So the basic concept is almost everything in this world I'm using blood magic nodes for. And so this was kind of designed around that, and we'll see how it works. So in the dispenser here, we have liquid starlight buckets. So basically I would set that to be filled with liquid starlight buckets. Now it's going to be a little tedious because I need to actually get it into a bucket form for this to work. And anyway, the dispenser here, and actually would that work? No, that won't work. It has to be like this. So the way this works is if I have an item in here, and let's just use this celestial crystal as an example. If I toss you in here, you'll notice it flows over there. That's because there's not a source right now. There's just this source here, and the crystal's not going to grow if it's a liquid flowing block. So we'll hit the button, fills that up, and just to make sure it doesn't work badly, we'll take out our bucket. So blood node will take care of, the blood node will be taking care of pulling the buckets out as well as putting the full buckets in. So that way when this gets a redstone signal, it will always have a full bucket and replace the source block. Drop you in there, and it'll start growing. Now eventually, it will of course consume the starlight bucket. Let's turn off our magnet, please. Where'd you go? Did you drop in? Yeah, I thought so. So that's sitting in there. When it eventually grows, it will get rid of the source block and it'll turn into flowing starlight, which will then push it into the hopper. Now, once it goes into the hopper, we just need to put a comparator output from there. Actually, we don't even need that because we've got this here. Been a while since I looked at this. The observer will notice when it has the starlight disappears. So when it turns to a flowing block, observer will pulse. Mr. Observer is going to go down here, and he's going to power this block as well as this block. This block has a dispenser. This block has a dropper. And that block, let's go ahead and grab, yeah, good one. We'll go over here. Dropper down below has our celestial crystal. And you'll notice I have a 4-tick delay here and a 1-tick delay here. That means when the starlight is consumed, current crystal is going to flow into the hopper, get out of the way. Observer is going to notice that the starlight changed. It's going to pulse first this dispenser, and then second the bottom dispenser. And that should work. Now the problem there, you can see it worked there for a second. The dropper itself does kind of bounce it around a little bit, so I'm going to have to kind of play around with how I set this up. I might have it be up above, I might have it go into like an open crate that'll drop it straight down. I think I also have something like an iron dropper in here. Yeah, which is a thing that'll make it specifically go straight forward instead of the kind of pseudo-random that regular vanilla droppers have. Another thing is I need to put I need to make sure that only one pulse goes through. Yeah, because that pulsed 2 buckets, which then wasted some starlight. So it's still kind of work in progress for how I want this to work. The problem is that the observer will detect it disappearing as well as it coming back. Now the real simple fix is I can just take a comparator out of this hopper instead and have the comparator go to a block, have a repeater pull from that block so it gets a full strength signal, and use that instead. That way it'll only pulse once, and that's as the crystal flows through. So I think that might be what I'll do here. Now you might be wondering, Zeeg, why even bother with that whole setup? Can't you just have a bunch of starlight here just constantly sitting? And the problem is, if I drop one in, cool, it starts having the nice little blue sparks, it's working, it's growing. However, if it splits, you'll notice there's no more particles coming off of this. So when it splits, it just kind of sits here, and neither of them will consume any starlight, and neither of them will grow. So it kind of works for breeding it. I can just kind of fill up this whole area with these crystals and let them go. The fluid outlet here from Immersive Engineering is just constantly filling from our giant tank here. So that'll just keep it filled until they split, really. So this is a nice setup for making them split. This is a good setup for making them grow. And the difference here is, okay, so that problem with the dropper versus iron dropper is it landed in this source instead of this one. Still tweaking that. If this system over here, though, when it flows into the hopper, if it's split, then now you just get 2 items in your hopper. So no big deal. Yeah. So let me figure out how I can do this. I'm thinking just a regular iron dropper, which is upgraded version of vanilla dropper, redstone control, and configurable pickup delay affects item entity velocity. So that looks like it is something to do. Okay, and so to modify this design, we're going to get rid of this block here. We're going to replace that with a repeater right there and stone right there. So now, instead of it being an observer that's going to tick, and if I break you, that's going to... Okay, so that ticked you, but that's fine. Okay. That was what I was worried about. Regular stone, let's replace all of our redstone. You go there, repeater comes out, because as an item flows in here, it's just going to be a signal of 1 through the comparator, so I need to boost it with a repeater. And let's get our redstone that all broke. You go here, repeater goes into you at 4 ticks, and there we go. So extra redstone was the one that was sitting here, so we're good. Okay, so that should all be now working yet again, and we're going to take another piece of stone. Let's throw our redstone back in our box. And do I have regular stone in here? No. We're going to steal just a regular cobblestone for now, because this is not where this is going to be, nor is it going to be regular stone. But want to test it. Okay, so that should all be working now. Starlight goes back in here, and I think I've got... Oh, there's a piece of stone. Crystal can go in. So I'm going to put one in here. I'm going to grab a few more. 2, 3. Place you in our regular dropper. It's still just a regular dropper at this point. I'll switch that out. But if we pulse this button, that will start the starlight. It won't grab one of these though. No, that's fine. There we go. Grab you, put you back in the dropper, and you should all be set. Magnets, that's the thing. Okay, where did you go? Yes. Yeah, once again, dropper, you're kind of annoying me here. We're going to need an iron dropper for this. So, place you. Take you out. We're still getting 2 pulses. Why are we getting 2 pulses there? Oh, okay. So, right, kind of talking to myself here, rambling, but when I picked up that crystal, it actually fell into the hopper, which caused it to pulse, which then made the dropper fire again, which then missed and landed in the hopper, and then pulsed again, and then that's why I had all 3 out. Okay, so that's going to sit just kind of for a little bit here, grab out the empty bucket, and we're going to go get an iron dropper because I'm tired of that. Okie dokie, so we're going to take our pickaxe, break this dropper, and replace you with an iron dropper, facing straight up, of course. We want eject when pulsed, so just once. I'm guessing this is if you give it a redstone signal, anything in here will just immediately pop out. So kind of like a open crate, I guess, in that regard. We want eject only when pulsed. 5 tick pickup delay. This thing can pick things up. Exact velocity, random. We want exact, straight up. And we'll keep sound going for a second so I can hear it, but let's give this a shot. So toss you in, grab the one that grew, toss you in as well, and put our little starlight back in place. Okay, in fact, we'll grab bucket out, we'll grab this, toss you back in here, and just pulse this the old-fashioned way with a button. One button, please. Awesome, so that goes straight up. That landed exactly where it should be. Mr. Dispenser here, take that out. This is going to be something that's definitely going to need the blood nodes for. So for this little demonstration setup, it's not going to work quite right because it can potentially have an empty bucket that's used. So won't do anything then. But I think this design should work, and we can build like 30 of them. So if part 1 is the growing chamber over there, part 2 is I have myself a fluid tank. I need to get fluid buckets. Now, a couple things I can use for this. I think I might be able to use a golem. The problem is Actually, I wonder if I give the golem a stack of them and tell him to right-click this tank. That might actually work. And then he'll just probably drop them on the ground. That'll probably be a little annoying when he gets to the last bucket and it'll fill up with starlight, then he's just holding a starlight bucket and it's going to go back and forth and do nothing. So that's potentially an issue. Another thing is Immersive Engineering has, of course, lots of tools. One is the bottler, and I think it's not going to show up here, of course. I need my actual book. So where is my magic book here? That's not my... Oh, that's a different mod. Recently installed Crossroads. It's a kind of Magitech type thing. Haven't actually looked into it at all, but we'll get to that one later. Tome of Perdicia. No, I want my Akashic Tome. Yes, I'm blind. Currently it's the Ancient Codex for members. Okay, so let's turn you back into Immersive Engineering. We want simple machines, I think. That is the bottling machine. Fills fluids into containers. Structure created as shown above, can be mirrored. Basically, I can just send in buckets and fluid, and it will start outputting buckets of fluid. So it can do bucket, glass, bottle, whatever. So I think that's going to be what we want. And that is pretty cheap. Steel scaffolding, sheet metal, engineering block, light engineering block, conveyor belt, fluid pump. That's going to be a thing I'll need to make. And one glass. So that, I think, is what we will do. Now the question is, where do I want this? So, Mage District, I flattened out the hill that was here. I've got this whole area to play with. If I go to Journey Map, we can take a look at it. Let's go a little bit closer here. Basically, I've got my library here. I'm going to have enchanting. I'm going to actually move back into the library. Thaumcraft is up in the north area here, and Astral Sorcery are these two areas at the moment. Currently, I've got nothing going on underneath here. But I do want quite a few mods in here. Wizardry has a couple multi-blocks. That's going to take up room. Astral Sorcery has a few other multi-blocks that I think I'm going to keep up above here. I might have like another tower for the infuser, whatever it's called. So where do we want this? As far as I know, this does not need to be accessible to sunlight, because I think, yeah, I was growing this stuff down here, and it was just fine. So it doesn't actually need starlight access to grow here, so that's a good thing. I think I'm just gonna maybe put it kind of where I am here, maybe back in this corner actually. So I'll have the fluid storage and bottling back here, and then just gonna use blood nodes to move things. So I don't need to like plan out where things are going really for transportation. But we need a couple of these. I think I'm gonna go with 5 of these setups. I think that's a decent number. Yeah, I don't really have any reason for choosing 5, but that should work. Okay, I think I've got everything I need to make the last couple objects here. Fluid pump, one of you, and I believe that should be everything we need. So we've got check marks and everything, so that sounds good. Next up, we need power. So I've got LV wire connectors, those sorts of things. I've got an inventory full of random stuff. Don't need you. Need you in a second. Hand of Ender can go away. Resonating Wand. Don't need that. Don't need these at all. Go away. Okay. So, I think... At some point I'll probably have to run wire all the way up to the area up there. But for now, I'm going to just kind of ignore it and grab a Spectre Coil instead. Do I have an extra battery in here? I do not. So, let's see. LV capacitor, copper, lead, treated wood, redstone, gold. So, 2 of you? Yes. 2 copper, 3 iron, was it? 2, 3, and a lead. I think that's everything I need. Grab a capacitor, so I have something to charge. Redstone. Of course. Grab one last item. There we go. So, the plan, I'm just going to kind of make a very seemingly temporary setup. I'm not sure if I'll eventually change it, just with capacitor, Spectre coils. I forgot wire. That's the thing I need. Coil of wire, thank you. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure how I want to set up my wiring. So I've got these nice little poles here. I put radiant lanterns on each of these. My plan is to run wire across the top here to the various places down below that need power, which currently is, well, nothing. But I'm not sure how I want to get power up to the Mage District, or even if I really should do that or just have a small generator up here. I believe Thaumcraft has a way to generate RF, so that is an option. Not sure. Anyway, let's jump down here. How are we on here? 120. Okay. So let's go ahead and build ourselves a fluid pump, or a bottler. So while we do have a lot of area down here, I do want to keep this thing fairly compact. So I'm thinking my plan is I'm going to have a wall along here. Not going to be cobble, of course. It's going to be some form of marble, I think. Although maybe that. We'll go with marble. So there's going to be a wall there. It's going to be a walkway here. So as you come up, you can go to the library there. You can walk this way, and in here would be the Astral Sorcery fluid area. So I'm thinking right here should work. And basically the way this works is you can see the conveyor belt going along there. Basically items will go through from the left and then go to the right. You can also mirror it to go the other direction. But I think that should work. And I'm basically just going to do it with a middle click to rotate. Really? You're going to mirror? Middle click to rotate, shift middle click to mirror. Okay, so let's take a look at the book and figure out which side ends up being what. Because this here is showing engineering block there, tank there. If I hit stop, tank is that side, so it'll end up flowing that direction. I think that'll work. So if I click this way, then the conveyor belt, while it's going to the right, or while it's going to the left there, it'll actually be going to the right once I've built this. So we're going to place it kind of back as far as I can. I think right there will work. Now let's grab our engineering blocks and stuff like that, and start building this thing. You can go there. You are on top of that. Iron sheet metal, similarly, is over here. Scaffolding. There, there, and there. And then on top we have our fluid pump. Fancy. And some conveyor belts. You, and you. Oh, seriously? Fine. Place it how it wants it. Okay. And then, like everything else, smack with a hammer. Don't smack that. This one? Engineering? Fine, we'll read the book. Okay. To format, right-click the central conveyor. Seriously? You know what? I think, even though it was saying that we needed to have them facing that way, to format, right-click the central conveyor with an engineer's hammer. Direction of the conveyors is important. So, actually, hold up a second. Fluid is input through the ports on the lower block of the metal tank. Okay, so I can pump it in from the side there. Energy is input through the top port at the top of the opposing side, on top of the engineering blocks. And that should be good. Except it has me click the conveyor belt for some reason. Anything? Nope. Aha! It's not actually complete yet. And if I had left this on my bar, I would have seen that. So we need our glass block. So it thinks these are wrong, but fine, we'll rotate them just to make it happy. So it'll show me. There we go. Glass block. Glass block goes right here. Yes. Okay, there we go. Now, if I right click, it thinks you're wrong. So we're going to rotate all of them till the projector stops thinking they're wrong. There we go. Now right click and it forms. Okay, so glass block, that's what we needed. Now, let's move you. Really? Shift click, I think will get rid of it. Okay. So, plan's gonna be, I'm just gonna put a chest here, chest over here, call it a day. Power is gonna go up here, so we're gonna just take a connector, place you, hope it would face already, Place you there. And that's good enough. Okay, so we got ourselves a couple chests and some hoppers. So one hopper can go right there, face into it, with a chest on top, like so. And then over here, I'm just going to place a chest right there, and that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead, take our capacitor, plop you, I guess, up there for now. Doesn't really matter. And we'll stick our hammer, rotate you to be orange for output. Connector goes on you, and some wire. That was not what I wanted. Wire. From you to you. So that is hooked up now. And I need power to go in. Turn you to blue. Stick our spectre coil on that. There we go. That's charging up. This guy here is also charging up. There's no user interface on this. There is a redstone on the front if you want to turn it off. But what we're going to be using instead is we're just going to control whether or not there's anything in here. So buckets go there. And I got myself a bunch of more pipes here. Admittedly, I should have had this the other direction so I can run my pipes along this wall. But do I want to do that? So part of the issue is I don't actually know where I want to put my tank yet. I could put my tank, I could put it over here. That's one option. I can put it up top, except I need to figure out my whole layout up here. So I need to have my actual light wells for creating the starlight to begin with. Currently, it's just sitting right here. Still working. You broke. Yeah. So I need to have my starlight collected somewhere. And I haven't decided where I want that to be yet. One option is kind of near the library here. On the second floor, I'm probably just going to have decorative bookcases outside here. And probably not even accessible to get in here. Maybe. I haven't figured out how I want that laid out yet anyway. There's all this roofing area here. I'm probably going to have some sort of thing on top of here, but I'm not entirely sure what yet. So basically, I don't know where I'm putting my light wells. I can put... put a row of them along here. That would work. And then just pipe it down to over there. I think that would work. So to check that this works at all, I'm going to take just a tank that I have. It's a Radiant tank from Arcane Archives. And I'm going to just kind of fill it manually for a little bit. Just to make sure I have things set up how I'm thinking I have them set up. Grab a couple more buckets. Grab you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Run over here. And if I fill this... Did that get anything in there? No? Okay. So... Oh, that makes sense because it's not set to export yet. So let's fill this. Go, and currently this tank can hold, I think, 48 buckets. That's why it's not filling up a whole lot there. Oak chest, we're going to take you, and we're going to grab some buckets. Stops there. Gets filled up. Comes over here. Should be a full bucket, but it appears to not be. Oh, right. Duh. Grab you. Grab the wrench. Take all my buckets back and set you to be able to pull. There we go. Okay. Buckets go in, get filled up, come over here, and have full starlight buckets. Cool. So that works. This is just going to be not obviously a tank sitting here. It's going to be piped in from a big tank. So system works. Let's figure out our layout. So for my layout, like I said, I think I'm going to have a couple more towers and maybe a fairly large structure here. I do want, of course, the marble area and the walkway all the way around, going around everything. But I think I want a fairly large structure in here. I don't yet know how I'm going to fill it. But the idea is that when I'm here, you can look out. It's a nice little lookout area. It's high enough that I can get a decent amount of starlight in here without having to do much anything. But this direction here is not going to have a whole lot of visible things besides building. In fact, it'll probably just be a wall, maybe even right there. Yeah, I think from this point going that way, it won't be sky accessible from the ground area there. So that's going to be just one big building here. And that being said, I think I can get away with putting a tank kind of here. like here. I think that'll work. It'll be probably visible from this infusion thing, but I think that's okay because it is, of course, starlight. Most of the starlight I'll be just pumping along probably the ceiling here to go up into it, and then from there-ish down into the actual area down here, I think. That being said, I could just have my starlight collection be over here and put the tank right here instead. Decisions. The problem is, since this pipe needs to come out of the bottom of the tank, I can either have the tank above, or I can run it... I could run it in the ground, actually. You know what? We're going to do that. We're going to run our piping kind of just in the ground. I think that'll be good. So let's go ahead and set up a tank. And I'm just going to go here. I think that'll work. Yeah. Ignore everything I said previously. It's going here. And you get a sheet metal there. You. Let's fill this up. And I think it goes up 4. I think this works. So we're going to fill this in, and we'll be back in just a second. And when you're done, go ahead, smack it with a hammer, you get yourself another fluid tank. Lots of these guys. I'm going to probably have a lot of these just throughout the entire base. It is worth noting that these are actually fairly small. I think they store 512 buckets, or 524, whatever the magic number is. 512, I think? Yeah. They are kind of small. Blood magic can get to stupid levels. Evilcraft can get... I think Evilcraft actually doesn't even have a limit. I guess probably whatever the integer limit is. So that is a thing. These are small, but they'll work for what we need. So let's go ahead, break this, and see if we have enough piping to be able to reach over there. One thing is, I am up kind of high, and I think there's maybe an empty space underneath here. So it is kind of like a slow, like a place, and there's a little bit of a delay. I should probably worry about that. And of course, I have exactly one less than what I need. Luckily, this end light well is currently not being used. So I'm just going to take his. In fact, we'll take the light well as well. Tech mean issue. Golem's probably going to fall. Let's put our light well back. Okay. So, last pipe. Place you here. And set you to export. Which is take our wrench. And toggle you. There we go. Now you are draining. I can see those pixels moving. And you over here are filling. So once that is basically full, I'm going to disconnect the top here and then just route it directly to it. And I'm going to actually need more piping for that. But whatever. So that is filling up over here. So let's go ahead and dig ourselves a ditch over on this side. I guess I can just run it underneath here. Should be fine. Just along the wall here. And I think what I'll do is I'll have it pop up. So I'm actually going to have it completely underground, maybe a glass walkway or something over it so you can still see a pipe, because pipes are always cool. Go over here. And then it'll pop up from underneath. So I think that is what I want. Alrighty, got myself more pipe, and let's go ahead and place it in. So, like I said, I'm just going to go underneath here. And I think that will be fine. I haven't decided what I want for flooring in here yet either. So when I do that, I'll of course come through, and the grass and dirt underneath there, we'll get rid of that too. So place you and set you to extract. Which is not that hammer, it is the wrench. Okay, so that has now filled up you. You are empty, so you can be broken. Get rid of the extra cables, or extra piping. There we go. And I think we're pretty much all set up. Now, this tank over here is no longer being used. So, at least for now, we can go ahead and break it. It'll probably lost a little bit, but honestly not as much as I really need to care about. Break that, and piping, we'll just lay you in place so that it's still going somewhere. You are not connected yet. There we go. Okay, so that should still be filling up over here. If we grab a bucket, we can watch it and make sure. Bucket is here, I guess. Did I use up all my buckets? grab one of you. Okay, so you are increasing still, so that's connected. Good. Okay, so let's go ahead and break the rest of this. Don't need it anymore. That little block delay is kind of annoying. Not quite sure if it's from lighting updates or what. I know I had an issue in Simply Magic where if I was up really high in my Astral Sorcery area and I broke objects or placed things, it would pause for a little bit like that. So it might be related to that, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, this thing's now taken out, and we can figure out a proper place for our light well. And a quick aside while I'm thinking about it, Mr. Starlight Crafting Altar, we're going to upgrade you. So that's going to go. It's going to break it because I'll have to replace all the city marble and all that stuff, but it'll at least get to the next tier, and I think that'll also unlock something in the book. So let's take that, open up our Astral Tome, and eventually, any minute now. Lots of particle effects, kind of cool. This is just painfully slow. I'm almost wondering if there's... Oh, there we go. I was about to say, I'm almost wondering if there's like something broken in the mod right now. But if vision expands, learn more about Constellation, and we have the next tier of Altar. Now, this is red because, like I said, I need to rebuild the altar itself. So, Constellation... You know, that's actually not what I want. Let's go... What is it? Back? Zoom out. Okay. We want actually the one before that, which was attunement, because this is what will show me how to set up my altar. So, lots of black, some white, yeah. Alrighty, and the last couple steps here are the pillars. Need one, two. Oh, really? Want you. 1, 2, and then on top of that is this block here, which I hope I have enough room for. Excellent. Okay, so let's do that a couple more times here. 1, 2, and you on top. 1, 2, and you on top. And last one over here. Hopefully this is now working. 2, and you on top. So if we open up our Celestial Altar, it's no longer red. Awesome, it's working. Okay. Quick little aside, just wanted to upgrade that while we were here. And I think this does still, I think all the black has to be accessible to the sky. So still good. I think the next level I might have to open up the roof there a little bit more. So next up, Mr. Golem, we're gonna get you to stop making noise. Okay, so that is now good. We're going to get rid of the Golem, which is like that. And for now, we're just going to store you in the chest because don't need you. You can go in here. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Yeah. So unfortunately now those are both running, but we can get rid of this one and its accompanying pipe. Drop it down, pick it up. And I'm thinking what we're going to do is we're going to put this over here. So right here, at least at the moment, I don't have an overhang. And I haven't decided if I want an overhang or not. So I don't want to take these blocks. These pieces of marble here are not actually part of the attunement structure. It only goes to here. So I could break these 4 and that would work. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to take that. I'm going to go with these ones here. Just these 4, 3, 4, as well as the 4 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason for that is this is fairly close to the starlight area. If you remember from a while back, this area was chosen specifically because it has the star field. So I'm not sure if it matters if you're close enough or if you have to be specifically in it for the light wells. I kind of also don't really care because I think we're going to be fine as is. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place 4 light wells there, 4 light wells here, and I'm going to put a block underneath here just to keep that capped off. Because otherwise it's going to be kind of weird, you'll be able to see underneath it. Let's go with infused wood. And one right there. One right there. Okay, should be good. We need a whole bunch more light wells. So I went ahead and got these light wells, put them in place. I've got the pipes underneath, and it's all awesome. Now, I realized actually I don't think this is actually where I want them. The reason for that is you can you can boost these things a whole lot if you can aim starlight at them. And really that means from this angle about the only thing I'd be able to do is put like mirrors not directly above, because that'll block it, but you'd have to have it kind of above, shooting in at an angle, and that really isn't ideal. So, couple options. One, I can just bump it up by one and have them up here. That's an option, and then I can angle the light in a bit easier. Another option is just move it entirely. And so I've been kind of going around just off camera. I still need to finish the marble kind of walkway all the way around there, but I'm also laying out my various buildings. So there's going to be a walkway through here, which can be covered pretty much the entire way. Walkway there as well. And the reason I bring that up is I'm trying to figure out where my buildings are going to be so I can figure out where my light well should be. So I'm thinking, for now, I'm just going to leave these sitting here. It works for now. I don't have any of the starlight stuff anyway, because I don't have any collectors, because I don't have an infuser. So I think we're going to just leave it here. Like I said, it works. It's able to get me starlight. Let's go ahead and throw some shaped quartz in here. There's a couple different things you can throw in here. One is the gems, the regular aquamarine gems. You can also throw the crystals, like the celestial crystals, the rock crystal, whatever. Attuned crystals get you the most, if assuming it's actually matching a attunement in the sky there. So not this one. There's also radiant quartz from Arcane Archives, and this is shaped radiant quartz, which is another one which is it uses 2 regular quartz for this one. Gets you a bit more power. Basically, they're still a lot slower than aquamarine, but it does last a whole lot longer, like hours longer. So it gets you more overall, which at this point, since I'm not actively using it, I think that's probably fine. In fact, let me take a look here. If we do this, you can see our starlight coming in real slow. Even though it is night, it is very slow, but it is consistent. So it's going to just keep coming in. We've got 229 buckets, so that should be fine for a while. So since that is more of a kind of design thing anyway, since I need to figure out where to put it and all that, I've instead decided to start work on the room down here, which will be where the actual crystal breeding, crystal splitting is taking place. One small note is I did disable smooth lighting for a little bit. I think because I have the giant sphere of marble that I've been clearing out pretty much directly below here, if I have smooth lighting on, there's kind of a block lag after every single block I place, and it gets really annoying, especially for like taking out grass. It takes just as long as just digging it by hand almost. So instead, I've just turned it off for a little bit, and I'll re-enable it later. But we've got a floor set up here, and I think we can fit everything we need in this little room. So I'll have a wall, I'll actually probably have the wall along this line with this pillar here, which actually out of pure luck, it lined up with this pillar here, so that works out nicely, which means I can put a path here maybe, or maybe here. I'm going to assume that my wall is going to go here, actually. So we'll place this so I remind myself to not go past here. But I think we can fit a couple little modules in here. So this thing here is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish blocks. I say ish because I can always rearrange the redstone to make that fit a little bit better. But it's basically 6 by 4, is that? Yeah. Okay, so that means over here is not going to fit as nicely unless I break into this wall, which I can do. I can always redo this wall. This is a temporary wall still. I don't like the marble. I'm going to change that. I don't like how turning off smooth lighting did that. So I can rearrange this. I'm not entirely satisfied over here. I like the ceiling. The ceiling is perfect. I like it. That's exactly what I want it to be. The wall, it's not going to stay that marble. It's going to at least be a different material. But I may move it a little bit as well, depending on how much room I need. I really only need a couple of these modules. I think if I fit 2 or 3 of them in here, it should be fine for most things I need. Honestly, once you get it automated with one, you can probably just let it sit for an hour and you'll be fine. But either way, we need to figure out, we need to move these chests, move you, you're just temporary anyway. I think you're where I want you. I guess I could bump you closer to the wall, but this gives me at least a walkway back here. We're going to put some sort of material on top of this, but I do want to see the pipe. I like being able to see pipes. But yeah, I think maybe we can fit probably 2 or 3 modules in here. Let me move the chests, and we'll kind of sort out what we're going to do. Well, for me, it's been several days since I last actually looked at this and went through all the steps, so let me just kind of familiarize myself with it. We've got, the main part is 2 source blocks with a sign here with a hopper underneath it. Hopper picks up the items as it turns this into a flowing block, flows in here, and then comparator picks out that signal, sends it through. So far so good. Now I'm trying to figure out if I can compact this at all. One thing I know that I could do is I could make it go underneath. I could use like a red string comparator on this, or I could just simply have the hopper go down a block, and then I can stick a comparator underneath my dropper here. That's also an option, which would let me, I think, be able to entirely remove this block here. So if I just kind of quickly work that out, just break that, pop underneath here. So basically instead I'd have a hopper here, and then redstone line can go through here. So let's go ahead, take our comparator signal out. You can go over here, block. Now the problem with that then is I still need to get a signal into my iron dropper here. So in fact that one needs to be second. That needs to be the second thing because I need to have this dispenser fire first. Okay, let me see if I can compact this at all. So one option that should work, I'm going to stick a piece of marble here, just a solid block. The dispenser's on top of it, and the dropper is next to it. So that will ensure that they both fire at the same time. So that, in theory, should work. Let's go ahead and take a bucket. Mana, you can go over here, because I don't need you at the moment. Just needed that for making wisdom wood. We have a couple starlight in there, that works. Let's go ahead, bucket one of you. Thank you. Let's put you in here, and let's grab one of these guys. None of you are close to splitting, right? Okay, so let's grab you. So I'm going to toss this in. Oh, actually, let's take all these. Okay, so I'm going to just queue it in. It will fall into the hopper here. It'll go into that hopper next. In theory, this should immediately fire the next one and have the dispenser drop at the same time. Let's turn off our magnet if we have it. Thank you. And just drop you in. Okay, not ideal. That fired twice. Why did you fire twice? Which also then lost a bucket. Okay. So for some reason it triggered it. Oh, you know what? No, I was thinking maybe the comparator. So the comparator pulsed twice. Okay. Here's what happened. The crystal came up, and as it was coming up, this was still actually flowing, so it bounced off immediately. That's annoying. I still need that one off by a delay. Actually, you know what I think happened? So I've moved some stuff around here, but I think it's basically the same thing. I had this being a redstone, this was a redstone as well, this was a repeater. But I think what happened was because this redstone here was getting a pulse from the marble, even though it was just a redstone dot, or maybe it was a line. Let's just reform it here so we see it. So that is a line, but I think what had happened was that redstone maybe pulsed. No, because it's not aiming into it. I was thinking maybe it's powering through this piece of stone, powering the dropper. But that shouldn't, because that's not angled into it, powering it with a strong power to be able to actually feed out to the iron dropper. I guess what I can do to test that is if I toss something in here. It's a flowing. Okay, so if I toss something in here, the dropper didn't fire. Let's try it again. Oh, the dispenser didn't fire either. Nothing fired. Okay, well the dispenser's not going to fire, so I don't need to worry about that. Toss you in. And did it send a stone? No, it didn't. Okay. Alright, well I'm going to keep playing around. Alright, let's give this a shot. So I've got an observer going here, which is observing the redstone line here. So technically, the observer should react to the redstone line changing. Redstone line changing at all is what is directly firing this dispenser. So the dropper is going to wait until the observer tells it the redstone changed, whereas the dispenser is going to change, it's going to fire as the redstone itself fires, if that makes sense at all. So that means there should be a slight delay in my dropper compared to the dispenser. You have starlight, you have a marble, so this should, in theory, work. Magnet is still off. Toss you in. Let's toss it into the right hopper this time. No, let's stand up here to do it. Ah. Okay. I heard multiple clicking, and there's 2 marbles sitting here. Why is there 2 marbles sitting here? Let's break this block. So in theory, the only thing powering the dropper should be the observer. Should be. And I'm assuming I lost... Oh, I didn't lose my bucket, so that's good. Let's grab that, toss you back in here, and let's try that again. This time, just 1, please. It's still firing twice. Why? Is there a delay? Pickup delay. Okay, so dropper is still going to fire twice, apparently, whereas the dispenser, luckily, is only firing once. Which isn't going to work, because if there's 2 crystals in here, then it's not going to start growing. Okay, that makes sense. Observer is ticking twice, because redstone's turning on, observer fires, redstone's turning off, observer fires. Okay, so that doesn't work. I think, you know what? I think I have sticky, repeaters. Don't I? Yeah, I have a sticky repeater. So what I can do is I can just put a block on the other side of where this observer is, right there. And if I break the observer, that's going to start flowing down, so let's take that out first. Bucket. Did I drop my bucket? Okay, take you back, please. Empty bucket is in here. Grab you. Take that source. Okay, so if I stick a... No, that's not going to work because it needs to be something that'll stop liquid from flowing through. Okay. There's got to be a way I can compact this down so it's only 3 blocks wide. Okay, so here's an option. I'm inverting my signal here, which basically lets me bump it up only 1 level instead of having to get 2 levels or whatever I was doing before. This lets me have a redstone repeater here into a block, as well as a repeater here into my dispenser block. And I think it works. So let's go ahead, jump up here, grab one of my buckets, put you back in place, thank you. And I think we're good. So if I toss this marble down here into the hopper, then it'll flow into this hopper. So the hopper is going to turn this signal on for a moment, which is going to turn this signal off. Nothing's going to happen. Then once the item goes into the next hopper, or is pulled out by a node or whatever, then it will turn the comparator off, which will turn the redstone torch off. Or on, rather. It'll turn redstone torch on, so everything will come on a half tick after. Or I guess a full redstone tick, which is 2 ticks, but whatever. So if I toss this in, it did still fire the dropper first, so let's put a delay here. Grab our bucket, take you back please, put you back in. Let's try that again. Drop you. Magnet is off. Okay. Let's try this from a little bit further away so that I stop picking up my items. If I go here, it should work. Feed one item in. That didn't do anything. Interesting. Does it go too quick if I scroll it that way? That's annoying. Ignore the laundry. I think it's working. Right? Okay. So that worked. Now the question is, that item there may not be within range to actually be getting starlight. I think I can adjust that simply by adding a little bit longer delay here, and I think that will solve that issue. Pick you up, drop you in. Okay, yeah, that worked. I had to jump there so that I wouldn't pick up the item, but that works. I did just waste a bucket, but whatever. Okay, all that being said, we now have a design. We can now build it over there. Okay, so I was hoping to be able to have them straight up against the edge there. Instead, I have to have that extra line of redstone right there, so I have to bump it out by 1. Now my plan, and these are somewhat temporary blocks, I'll place them in a few seconds here. So basically, I'm going to have just redstone sitting like that. I think I can't really get around that. Yeah, because there's the wall here. Otherwise, I'd put it in the wall and put something on this side. Either way, I can try to play with that a little bit, but I think this design should be fine as is. I'll just have a line of redstone back here and not really care about it. So let's go ahead and build all these. So I've got marble here and here. That's going to be fancier marble in a second. Where the wood right here is where the item dropper is going to be. Dispenser is where it's going to be. I need to go down a few more blocks here and get my redstone in place. But I think that should work. And I still haven't actually learned my lesson. Redstone pack is basically empty. I don't have hoppers in here. So I need to actually switch this over to being an ender bag from all the work that we did before. So let's go ahead, get some pieces, and build these together. Okay, so the actual placement of the hopper, I don't think it really matters because I'm going to be pulling directly out of it through a node anyway. So we can just place it aimed, I think, straight down will be fine. Go there, there you go. Okay, so I've got that there. Blocks here and here. I don't know, something. Something marble, of course. I think I want these embedded in the ground. I might actually, I'm going to build one of these bumped up a few blocks. I like it being down because then I can look into it, but I could also try to build something fancy around it. Maybe. We'll play with it a little bit. So let me get the redstone in place here. It's pretty simple. Break you out. You need to be a comparator. In fact, I'll just break the dropper for now. Inventory is full as usual. Dispenser, we'll place you in. Dispenser, we'll place you in. Thank you. And let's grab our comparator. So we need a comparator signal out. This goes into a repeater. Yes, because I have a block on top of it. Repeater goes here. You are just a solid block. And I'm going to make you, I think just infused wood. Doesn't really matter, because that one I think no matter what is not going to be visible anyway, because there's a block that will go here. Not sure what block I want for that yet. Next up, underneath this block here, we need a redstone torch on this infused wood. There we go. And block can go right on top of you. Well, I failed. This one doesn't go here, it'll go on this side here, but we'll get to that. Redstone itself, we're going to place you on something fancy, haven't decided what. Let's go with, you know, let's just go with just regular Astral Sorcery marble. It's a nice clean block, actually. You know what, instead of that, let's go with, I think I'm going to go with just ruined marble, actually. I like the top of this block. Yeah, I like that. Ideally, if I had that smooth texture with it being connected, that would be awesome. But still having a edge around it, except for where it connects, of course. Let's grab our redstone. You're going to go here and here. And that block, unfortunately, does go away and turns into a repeater here. Okay. Did I do that right? Yes, because there's going to be a block here. This block needs to be a repeater as well. Okay, so let's fix our inventory. Really? Why did I toss that block? Okay. You can go here with a repeater on top, set to, I think 3 ticks is what I want, because it'll make it delay a little bit longer. And with that, we're basically done. We'll just add that block there. Do I like how this looks? I don't like having this stuff exposed here, I'd rather that have been either embedded in a wall or something else. Place you there. Let's get our dropper back. You can go right here. There we go. And set you to be eject when pulsed, exact velocity with no pickup delay. Okay. I think that's good. We need a sign here or a half block, some sort of block to prevent the fluid from flowing. But other than that, this is pretty much done. Okay, so slightly different design. I bumped it up a few blocks like I mentioned here. What I've done though is I've put the dropper on the side and the dispenser on this side. And then I've got a redstone dot here, which is powering indirectly the rune marble. It's weak powering that, which allows a repeater to pull it out. Now, because redstone paste is a little kind of weird, it won't actually fire the dispenser unless there's a dot here. So it's not actually strong powering the rune marble, it's only weak powering it. It's a little annoying. For instance, if I take this off, those all turn off. If I place it back on, no click. Now if I do it here, there is a click. So it's kind of weird. I'm not really sure why it does it like that, but that's redstone paste. Ideally I'd have this not a visible thing. Like I'd put a shell around this. I'm not sure if Chisel and Bits works with redstone paste or if there's any sort of cover on this. Just because it would look nice to have this be just a solid thing like that. But such is redstone. Actually, you know what I could do? I could just go like this. That would work also. And then no repeater. Okay, we'll do that. I like that. It has a line of redstone visible on the top here. But I'm okay with that. I like that. It's nice. It's invisible from down here. So I think actually this is the design I'm going to go with. Now, the next part of the puzzle is... You can go away, thank you. I need to feed items into the dispenser as well as pull the empty buckets out. I need to pull items from this hopper and put it, well, wherever it'll go. And I need to send crystals into this dropper. So, to do that, obviously I'm not going to put something right here because that's going to prevent the fluid and break the whole thing. I think I'm just going to have items fed in from underneath here into the dropper. And a similar story over here. I'm going to have one underneath and one on the side. Or perhaps on top. I can't put it on top because redstone here is going to be turning that off. So it's going to have to be on the side. So one node here, and one node over here. And I think, oh, and one here in front, I guess. I think that'll be good. So I'm going to change all these over to this style, and I think that'll be good. And before we get too carried away, let's actually test this to make sure it still works. I put some celestial crystals in this dropper. I've got a bucket. Let's get a couple more buckets in this dispenser. Dispenser. I did forget that I need the repeaters here because of the delay. The iron dropper needs a longer delay. And I think the pickup delay here is not the same thing. I think that's... Maybe it's able to drop... I don't know. I'm not sure why a dropper has a pickup delay, unless that's similar to the open crate, where it will prevent things from being picked up if it has a redstone signal. Kind of weird. But I think... So if I toss anything in here, it's not going to do anything because I need to pull out the signal. I need to pull the item out. Don't have that yet. Let's place you here. Place you there. There we go. And let's just check that is aimed in there. So we're good. Okay. So if we go up here, we'll toss an item in. The hopper should have a pulse come out and everything should be working properly. Cool. So that's going to grow. I'm going to let that actually just work on its own here for a little bit. And I'm going to just kind of watch it, make sure that it does exactly what I want it to. Let's take out empty bucket first. So yeah, should be good. Should be working exactly how I want it. Do I want to swap this block out for something else? I can have that be literally anything else. I think these blocks don't have to be here at all. Oh no. Well, this block doesn't have to be here. These two blocks have to at least be something to prevent fluid. So I could do a single layer of pixels that would work. Like in chisel and bit types of things. yeah, I'm just going to watch it. Okay, the first one just went. I was actually looking in a bag at the time. So crystal came through here. That's good. It just pulsed again, made the crystal appear, or dropped the crystal in, and the dispenser worked as well. So that is working exactly as I want it to. And I'm quite happy. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to bump this up the level. I want it up here. I think I like this with the nice pillars here. I need to get a whole bunch of nodes here, though, because I need 1, 2... Can I multi-purpose any? No, I can't. I need 1 for pulling from here, 2 for that, 3, 4 on that. So 4 per, as well as a kind of just any chest whatsoever to hold the good ones that I want when it's a perfect crystal. So let me go get a bunch of nodes and filters. And last one just fired as I was sitting here watching it. Works perfectly. Alright, I got myself a bunch of nodes here, and it got me thinking actually. I don't know if this will work, because part of this, one of the things I need in here also is the splitting. Now if it splits, then 2 items will fall into the hopper, and I don't know what will happen if that happens. So that's a thing I need to think about. I think I'm just going to let it work and see what happens. But for now, we have input nodes and output nodes and a master node. So master node doesn't really matter where you are. You just have to exist. So I think over here is nice because that's nice and visible. I can access it easily. Input nodes. I also need nodes over here. So we're going to put one right there. And I need an output node right here somewhere. Doesn't really matter where. There. So I'll need to set the filtering, of course, but I'm just placing them where they need to be for now. Output node is going to be sending empty buckets here. Input node is going to be grabbing full buckets from this one. Similarly, over here, we need an output node into the iron dropper. And I think just right here, that will be able to reach there. And on this side, same story, I need an output node as well as an input node. And again, I can't put it up top here, I can put it on the side. Okay. Oh, and I also need one right here. If I break you, let's pick it all up. I also need a input node here, and that should be good. And now let me get all my filters in place. Now the trick with setting these up is to not actually connect them to anything yet until you have your filters. And the reason for that is, right now, upwards, it's going to be sending everything it has access to. Currently it's nothing, but since it's not connected, then it won't actually be able to send anything. Now this one's a little weird. I need to send an NBT item filter, just one of you, and this one here ignores the NBT of the filter. And I also need to mess with the priorities, and I need to figure out what the priorities need to be for this. So basically, priority, I want this guy to be very low priority. The reason for that is it's going to be sending every celestial crystal that exists. If you're a celestial crystal, you'll go here. Just fill it up. Now if that were in where did it go? If there were a precise item filter, it will make sure that everything matches exactly, which I don't want in this case because each crystal is going to be different, right? I mean, there's size, there's purity, there's cutting, there's lots of variables there. I just want to send every type of crystal that exists into this dropper. Now, somewhere else, and it may be one of these chests, may not be, I don't really know, another filter, and this one over here will have a precise item filter in it for a perfect crystal. So I have a couple of these already. 900, 100, 100. These are a perfect crystal. What this will ensure is that perfect crystals, they're going to get sent to a chest of some variety, whether it's this or whatever, it doesn't matter. It will send all the perfect crystals over here. So I just need to do cutting, cut it down to size, or get the cutting maxed. Then I can just let it grow, since these are all 100% purity anyway. I can just let it grow in here until it's perfect, then it'll get pulled into the chest instead of getting sent back into an iron dropper when it's a perfect crystal. Now, imperfect crystals, ones I haven't maxed the cutting of yet, such as this one here, he's just going to keep getting sent into this one just forever until it's going to send forever. So it's going to be in here, splitting, splitting, splitting. If it is an imperfect crystal, it'll always be split. If it is a perfect crystal, it will keep growing until it is sent to the perfect chest. So we've got this one here. MBT is set up properly. This one here is an output node. Yes, output node. You need to go up. I want a precise filter in here, and I need to get myself a bucket of starlight. So up, we'll send a bucket of starlight. And you are pulling from this direction is west, according to my map there. On the west, we're going to take, we're going to take everything. Doesn't matter. No, it does matter. Yes. Precise filter, you are going to take buckets. Empty buckets. I want a filter in here because otherwise it's going to start pulling the liquid starlight buckets and moving them around, and it's just going to be kind of continually lagging everything because it's going to be pulling from this dispenser, put it in the dispenser over there, it's going to pull it from there, it's going to send it over here, it's going to be whatever it decides to pull it from. This way it'll only grab empty buckets. And empty buckets only have one destination, which will be over here. So, output filter here, east, we need a filter here for empty buckets. You over here, you don't need a filter, take everything, because everything in here is a full bucket, which only has 3 destinations, currently just 1. Now, let's just kind of review this again. You have a destination, or you have a filter. You have a filter for him, you have a filter to pull things out of you. You don't need a filter, you're pulling whatever lands in this hopper as soon as it gets out of the hopper, or as soon as it lands in the hopper, because then it will immediately have decided whether it's going into a dropper or a perfect chest. And you have a filter, and you have a filter. I think we can now start binding things together. So let's grab our tools, grab our node router. Inventory is eternally full. Link to you, link to you. This one doesn't have a filter. Let's get ourselves a chest. Do I have a chest of any variety in here? Of course I don't. Let's grab you. That's annoying. Okay. Cute. These are only perfect crystals, aren't they? Alt. Okay, let me grab a chest here and get this set up properly. Okay. Now this direction here is north, so output filter, go to the north, grab a precise filter. You are going to grab only perfect crystals. There we go. Grab one of you. And perfect crystal. Now, what I need to check is I don't recall which of these is better or earlier, because I can go positive and I can, okay, so I can't go positive, but I can't go negative, I should say. I can't remember if 0 is highest priority or if whatever max number here, 9, is highest priority, or if higher number is lower priority. For instance, if it's like order in, like number of order in the line or something like that. Let's bump you to 5. Just to see if that works. So you are linked up. Let's link this one up as well. Didn't actually link. Link together. Okay, so you are connected. And let's connect this one to this node here. Now, take a look at this. It is empty. You up here, you are flowing, so that's fine. And there's nothing in here yet, so that is okay. If I place a perfect crystal in here, it gets pulled. Now the question is, did you get pulled up to the top here, or did you get pulled to over here? Perfect crystal, where did you go? Got 2 perfect crystals. I should have a total of 3 of these. Perfect crystal went into there. Okay, so let's instead set your priority to 5 and your priority to 0. Let's try this again. I have my perfect crystal. You are not going to be wasting anything yet, so toss you in. Triggered that. You are not in here. You are over here. Okay, so higher number means that it is further back in the line, if that makes sense. But that should all be working. Alright, everything is bound together to the master node here, so at least one module should be operational at this point. It's worth noting, I do have everything currently bound to the master node here. What I could instead do is just link to like the middle one here, and then have each individual module linked to its one. You can route through other nodes, you don't have to link directly. That might make it a little more clear when I'm in here, but it shouldn't matter too much. Everything is hooked up, so in order to start this off, let's go ahead and toss. Wow, okay, so that pulled starlight buckets in here already, so that's good. If I toss you in here, it's just going to get pulled as well. Yeah, Yes? No? Maybe? Should. Why are you still here? 1, 2, 3. We've got 7 in here. I don't think I set this to be a number. It should just be everything. Okay. So I'm not really sure why it's leaving one in there. I guess that's okay. It's a little troubling. So I've got that hooked up. Next up, let's grab a couple of these crystals. I don't currently have an input, so I should probably get an input set up somewhere where it's just a chest where I can dump a bunch of crystals in. That'll give me a place to put things once I've shaped them as well. In fact, let's grab our little grindstone. We'll just put you here, because why not? And let's grab a couple crystals. We'll do those, and we're also going to grab... We'll send one in that's high size, max purity, max cutting, to see whether or not, if I get it in here, as a perfect one. So you can go in here, the rest of you can go in here as well, and should just continue growing and splitting eventually, which should then fill up this dropper with things. So, okay. So let's go ahead, get one more bucket here. In fact, I don't need a bucket, I just need to toss it in here. Okay, so you are growing, you are empty, grab one from in here, and up here, it has now filled it, it finally got that last bucket. I'm not sure why it left one in here, unless it's because I don't have a filter on this. Not really sure why he's staying in here, but it is. Bucket filling is automated. It's going in here. That worked because it filled up that one, sent it into the dispenser. Dropper is set up. I do wonder if this is still random or if it's only going to grab the first one. That's something to think about. Hopefully it is random, because if it's not, then it's just going to stick on the same one always. It's going to keep taking the first one. It's going to go into the hopper. It's going to get pulled back into here. So that will be a little annoying. But I think this is working. I'm going to go ahead and call this for an episode. I'm going to watch this kind of between episodes and see how well it works. But it should be completely automated at this point. And I shouldn't really have to come up here to touch anything until the dropper is full. That's just going to get filled up. And it's probably going to break because the hopper will get filled up entirely and no longer being empty anymore. It's no longer going to be triggering the redstone. So, cool, you worked. Now you... So it grabbed the pure one, the perfect crystals in there right now. But it wasn't really paying attention if that was the first one or not. Okay, well, like I said, it is working. If it's not random, I'm going to have to come up with something else. I might just use a regular dropper in this case and just kind of like block it in or something. But we'll take a look at that in a little bit in the next episode. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.